So here we are in After Effects, and we're going to create a 3D title that follows an action using camera tracking. So first thing, I have a shot here of a car, and I'm going to introduce that shot into my film clip here to create a new item. If I hover around here, it says create a new composition. That's what I want. I drop that down and bing, bang, we have a new composition. This is the shot I'm going to add a title to. I could use a tracker with 4 points and follow the exact perspective of that car. But instead, I'm going to use the easier, more powerful animation track camera. Track camera will analyze step by step and create maybe 50, 60, 100 points where I could put a title and attach a title to the car and say, this is the valve, this is the gasket, this is the winch, whatever it is, windshield, whatever power things are these cars have, and I could have them follow the exact move of the car. Now it's solving the positions, and now I see that if I hover with my pointer around the car, I have a bunch of places that are perspectively indicating a title place that I could use, or I could put a shadow catcher or an object that follows the car exactly. So in this case, I'm just going to put a title very quickly. And so I'm going to choose maybe this area here. All I need to do here is once I have the point that I choose, I'm going to control, click on the point, and go to create a text and camera. I could create a solid, which means it would be an object that I have on the timeline. It could be anything like a danger sign where the gasket, where the gas is, or it could be anything. A null in camera. So null is like a sort of point that moves in space. And I could attach things to my null so it would follow the movement of the car in the shot. Or a shadow catcher, or the camera lights that I could add to that point. I'm going to create a text in solid. So now as you see, there's a text that's attached to the car, and it's on the top there. And if I move my car, the text is following. Now, if I look at my text and I take the position of my text, P for position, I use fast keys here because that's what we do in After Effects. We use fast keys. And I'm moving the position on X, Y, or Z, for instance. So that's Z here that I'm moving. So I'm creating more like, I'm getting the text to come in and drag down and drag in. So I'm using my positions here to put the text on the car. So now when I move, of course, there's a perspective deformation that comes from the fact that it was on the top here and now it's on the bottom. So it follows the car, but a little bit in its own way. If I wanted, I could have chose a different point and placed my text differently. Now we'll take my text tool and write these words. And I'm not exactly sure of the font that they've used on the ads, but I'm going to go in and just select a different. I'm just going to roll my mouse here inside the text chooser and choose a font that is very fat. And still going through the collection here. Okay, let's choose this one. So now I'm going to switch to my modes. Here is the toggle switch from modes to switches. And I'm going to choose a mode to overlay that title on the car as if it was painted on the surface of the car. And I can add a filter, a drop shadow, for instance. I could increase the distance and the softness. So I just put a little distance with the car. Now I'm in classic 3D. If I want, I could be in ray trace 3D. You find this on the top right here. And in ray traced, I have access to a few more adjustments that I could do. And I will see what's been added here is geometric options. If I open those geometric options, I have a bevel that I could add to shape and an extrusion depth, so I can make this title actually stick out of the car. And reduce the holes for the bevel shape, and choose a bevel shape that would be convex, let's say. Now in 3D ray traced, things become very slow. So I may need to I'm choosing a different kind of bevel here. And my depth here is very, very large. I did that by purpose just to show you, but I'm just going to keep a small, nice little, maybe 27 depth of extrusion. And I'll keep my hole here at minimum 0. And I will put my resolution at a third or a quarter so that it calculates fast. It's a little crummy, but it calculates faster like this. And to see the effect of this, I need to put some lighting. So I'm going to choose a light. And I'm first going to put an ambient light for about 20% or 30%, just to see what's going on here in general. And then I'm going to put a spotlight for about 75%, 80% on the title. Now I'm starting to shape up things, and I can move this light. Now, if I start to rotate this title, I will see that I have here in my hands a completely three-dimensional object. Now when I move in time, I can see that the relationship of my object and my car is still maintained by the camera tracker. So this was just to show the potential of the ray tracer, but I will go back to my classic 3D because what I want is a very subtle kind of spray painted title on the car, of which size I will put scale down to about the size of inside of the door, and set the positions again just to be like comfortably within that area here of the car. And now I have something that I think is what I need. I will take my spotlight here. I will actually remove my lights and put back my normal tint of the title. And if I want, I'm going to colorize the title and choose the exact color of the car. So actually the only thing that's going to define the title itself is the drop shadow. Now I can render this. In full resolution. Now just a little reminder here, I will put the position more left, and I will animate the position by putting the keyframes on, and when it moves away like this following the movement of the car, I will move it, I will compensate a little bit and just try to stay with the car a little bit more and render this. So that's it. Now if I want to add a title to this, I will go into my effects presets here, and I will write a title on my car here, on the side of my car. And I will put it in the opposite complementary color to that green. And I will animate this title, this new title here, using the preset animators. So the preset animators are found. I'm just going to move this font, this text here a little bit more in the dark here. And the presets are here into my effects presets. I open my animation presets. And these are a bunch of presets that I can use to do all kinds of things. Shape changes, image transforms, all kinds of things. And here in my animation presets is a text animator. And if I open my text animator, there's a bunch of different animations that I could apply to. I'm going to go into the 3D animators because I'm in 3D right now with that new title that I put on the car. And I will choose any of them. 3D line zoom in, for instance, and you just drop them in and you see what animation it does. So that's a simple, it just goes up and dissolves in. So Command Z, I'll undo this one. I'll try to find something a little bit more jazzy. So there's one where they all appear and like a deck of cards and they all fall in position. And so you just explore them one by one and you just drop them. Like now they're going to go in this sine curve and just come towards the car and so on. In two slabs, it just falls down like a panel. Maybe I want something like flying down or something like this. So that's nice. That's kind of classy. I like that. It's in dimension. It comes from the camera and goes very nicely towards the car. So if I want to change where the animation appears on this test driving, all I have to do is press U key. The U key will reveal the keyframes that have been used in this preset. So I just press U and it opens up the keyframes that are in use. So I can always take the last keyframe and bring it in so it happens faster. And I can animate this, I can change, I can have it appear later and finish earlier. And I just move those keyframes to wherever I want. And generally speaking, I can move the position of that title a little bit. And there we go. So I'm going to ramp preview this. So maybe it's a bit fast, so I'll just slow it down. And I will put a nice little dissolve on both titles. So I'm going to select both titles and go for T. T means transparency or opacity. And I'll bring the opacity down to 0, create a keyframe automatically on both because I'm selected on both. And I will bring the opacity up to 100% on both tracks. The other one appears by itself anyways. And at one point before the end of the shot, I will mark a new keyframe here in my keyframe creator. It's this little box there. I just clicked in it and there's my keyframe, and I will slowly fade that out to 0. So I got a nice in and a nice out. I find them quite fast, so I'm going to take the 2 keyframes at the end. I'm just going to stretch them. I'm going to take the two last ones here and I'm going to stretch them. And stretch them here too. That's how, you know, drag and drop and easy it is to move things. A little sound effect, and I think we're on for something. So that's kind of a very creative title we can add, and it's not like anything you can find in Final Cut Pro or Premiere Pro. And so then you do your own creative magic and you can add it to your edits. So to add it to the edits, what I do here is I'm going to export to the render queue. I'm going to go quickly through this because you can stop and rewind. And in the render, I'm going to call it just a name and it's a place where it goes. It's going to go on the drive B. And I'm going to go to lossless and choose a format. And as my format is 422HQ, I say OK. I don't have sound on this, so audio output will be off. OK. And I render. On the extreme right here is the render button. Press render, and the shot is being exported right now, and it is done. It's nice little music to tell us it's done, and I can save my project and quit. Go back to Final Cut Pro, where I have my car project somewhere. There's my car project, and I'm going to import my title right into this segment. And so I go and import media. To my drive B. It's called Audio Title. Import selected. Create optimized media. Find people. No, there's no people there, so take that off. Import. There's my shot, and I can drag and drop it on my project. And so it goes. And find a nice place to put it on. And there we go.